Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So we're going to be starting the pitch section of the presentation, but we want to do a quick introduction. I wanted to have Curtis, who's been working with the Worcester Roots program, really helping a lot of the initiatives in the Worcester community along with Matt. And we're really excited to introduce our contestants pretty soon, along with our panel. So I'm going to just pass the mic over to Curtis to get started.
Sure. So one of the first things we wanted to talk about is open up for a participatory activity here. So we sent out, you might have seen it, we asked if anyone had any ideas for a social venture movement or cooperative business idea. So we had a few people respond, so I think we're going to open up with some of those people and then we can have a discussion about some of those ideas. So I started talking a little bit about governance versus management. And there's some key differences here. So, like, if you were in the panel earlier, like, yes, most co-ops still have managers, but it's still a little different than what a typical manager does. So, governance, so this involves worker owners. Worker owners, they'll make strategic decisions about the business, take part in financial planning, and oftentimes oversight of the co-op. And on the management side, management oftentimes is more focused in daily tasks. Managers can be worker owners. There are some co-ops actually, in order to not have a conflict of interest, actually have their managers not be worker owners. And that's one strategy. So for management, sometimes those decisions are also made in consensus or formed with modified consensus. There's a lot of different forms, and I'm not going to go into those. But yeah, it's basically daily operations and number administrative tasks, number of related things there. So sorry, a little flustered with the presentation. So I thought it was important, and there's a lot of reasons why co-ops aren't more common. And I just thought it was important to just, give a little bit of brief history here, actually, just really quickly. So, co-ops, 75% of our electrical grid was actually formed by co-ops. There actually used to be more co-ops in the United States. A lot of rural areas still have a lot of co-ops. But basically, after World War II, the world really polarized in the way we form organizations. And so, some people went one way, some people went another way. The United States really pushed back against some of that. And so we started to see that the model of co-op start to decline. And sort of what happened at that point is then we had venture capital and investment banking start to be a primary way of forming businesses. And when this happened, a lot of those investors also became very involved in government and corporate taxes and ways in which we form businesses. We're more focused on forming those types of companies. As a result of that, as a result of all that lobbying in the government, I'm sure a lot of you know where we are right now. Where did those venture capitalists end up? Government, right? So basically, there's a lot of other reasons why co-ops have been hard to form. So banks, until recently, banks typically, when they calculate how to give someone a loan, it's hard for them. It's traditionally been hard for them to understand. Oh wait, so how do we look at multiple credit scores? What's the equation for that? And like, oftentimes, even though a loan, in a lot of cases, if it's distributed, the risk is distributed. Banks were just, we've never seen this before. So it's oftentimes a hard time to raise financing. Right? Another thing is co-ops don't typically sell equity. So there's different types of equity. There's voting shares, and then there's investment shares. So some co-ops do investment sharing, but generally venture capitalists aren't interested in co-ops because they don't really have any control, because co-ops don't give up control. So those are some things that has, a lot of that's starting to change now, but it's been, even though co-ops, there's a lot of great things about co-ops, it's prohibited them from being a more dominant form of business. Um, all right, so I talked a little bit about in the last panel about why what's so good about co-ops. So there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things that are good. There's a lot of good things about co-ops and a lot of different metrics. They're more productive. They grow faster. They last longer. They retain more people. They're 30% more likely to stay open than a normal business. They keep money in a local economy, and they provide good jobs. So pretty much almost every metric you can think of, a lot of them at least, a co-op is a better form of business. So overall, I think it's a pretty good argument that co-ops hopefully will become a more dominant form, and we'll start seeing them organize more and more, and that's why we're here to talk to you about them today. Mike, I'll just give a brief introduction to our judges. First up, we have Esteban Kelly. He's the executive director of the U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives. He's an important leader, creative force, and board member of numerous organizations within the solidarity economy and co-op movements. He's a co-founder of the cross-sector Philadelphia Area Cooperative Alliance, co-founder of Aorta, and has had multiple director positions at the New Economy Coalition. Maggie Cohn is the Southeastern Loan and Outreach Officer for the Cooperative Fund of New England. Maggie comes from over 10 years of work with Boston nonprofits, including the Mission Hill Health Movement, the Boston Collaborative for Food and Fitness, and Mission Hill Main Streets. Maggie currently serves on the board of the Back of the Hill Community Development Corporation and the Cooperative Development Institute. Asana Jahan is a senior analyst for the Boston Impact Initiative. She has worked in middle market financing and commercial banking research in the financial industry and program management in an international development organization. Afsana is interested in entrepreneurship and economic development, has consulted and designed social enterprises in various industries. She received her MBA in social entrepreneurship and impact management from Heller School of Brandeis University. It's actually
Okay. My name is Mike Jerry. I'm an owner worker with the Intersection Cafe Co-op out of Worcester, Massachusetts. We're a group of radical, enterprising community leaders working for community empowerment by focusing on intersectionality and the opportunities that come from it. Excuse me. When we say radical, to us that just means people over money. We know folks have different connotations and definitions, but that's what it means to us. And in a capitalist society like this, that can be extremely radical. All right. Worcester is currently working well for some. For others, it's extremely oppressive. Worcester is being rapidly gentrified, and as a result, marginalized communities are being left in need of essential resources. And today we're going to focus on two of those essential resources. So marginalized people need access to financial resources and quick, healthy, delicious food. And when we say financial resources, that's not just money, that's connections, that's support, and things of that nature. Back out. Back. Next one. Food truck. There we go. Okay. So now folks need access to financial resources and quick, healthy, delicious food. And what does Intersection Cafe want to do about that? We're going to open a food truck. We're going to open a food truck at Mercantile Plaza, located in downtown Worcester. And that's right amidst the DCU, the Hub, Medical City, the Grid, and a multi-million-dollar, multi-purpose development going on as we speak. What that food truck is about is coffee, culture, and convenience. And our menu can basically be broken down into 3 parts. We'll be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's Sunday to Wednesday. And 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sunday through Wednesday, and 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thursday through Saturday. Again, our menu can be broken down into 3 parts. That's vegan express food items. And when we say express, that means 3 to 5 minutes in service. Coffee, fair trade coffee and coffee drink program. And lastly, our health and international beverage program. When it comes to the vegan food options, it's a simple menu, 9 items, 5 full breakfast items, 5 post-breakfast. Breakfast is available all day. It's affordable. The highest, the most expensive item is $5, and the least, cheapest item is $2. The menu is compiled by Brain Trust from folks from some of the most critically acclaimed restaurants in the area, including Armsby Abbey, Dead Horse Hill, People's Kitchen, Bocado and Vita. So here, if you see the menu here, I wasn't even go back. I wasn't even paying attention. Go back. So if you go to the menu here, sorry for this. My computer skills is trash. I apologize. So go back to the menu. The menu here. So I tried to get a copy of our menu in here. You can see some of the ingredients. Hummus, melted vegan cheese, habanero, steamed carrot saute with habanero, garlic, turmeric, smoked paprika over spinach and topped with pepper and onions on a grilled bun with vegan cheese. Our black bean burger is on the ciabatta or potato rosemary bread. Choice of 1 sauce, barbecue, guacamole, so and so, not gonna read to. So hey, that's an example of what our menu looks like. Back up. Customers, who will we selling to? All right, so it's basically a little bit for everybody. Here's a list of the folks here. So NP, SAO, and CU, that's nonprofits, social justice organizations, colleges and universities. There are a ton of nonprofits in the city with social justice driven missions. And we're all about social justice and equality, and that's ourselves in it. If you see here, there's a list of who we're selling to. There's people of color, vegans, vegetarians, students, old and housewives. I'll speak to that later. 7-day Adventists, vegetarians, marijuana smokers. We are very excited about this. Believe it or not, to my knowledge, as the homie in the back just stated, we've just been legalized in Massachusetts, and I don't know if, maybe someone's done it before, but I don't know if anyone openly targeting marijuana smokers in their marketing, and that's what we're going to be doing. So this is our marketing strategy. In person, as a video, meeting, so on and so forth. Okay, next. Back up. Okay, the market. Veganism is up 600% since 2014. And so in 4 years, 6% of Americans nationwide identify as vegans, and that number is rapidly on the rise. In the middle here, if you had to deduce what who the typical vegan is, it's an educated white woman, educated left-leaning white woman, Elizabeth Warren. In this area, it's littered with educated left-leaning white women. And so this is there's a consultant on board. She ran her own business, and she's the one that came up as a white lady. I didn't come up with it. As a white lady who coined the term "holding housewives" to talk about the demographic in the market in our neighboring towns, the Holdens, the Paxtons, the Shrewsburys, the Auburns, with disposable income, who are looking to eat healthier, and they're falling to this demographic. And lastly, Worcester. Worcester is in the midst of what I would call like a dining renaissance. It's gotten tremendous pub and several publications and shows. It's previously had an aggressive attitude towards food trucks, but they are trying to revamp the image of the city and become a little bit more hip and trendy. And again, it's like the perfect storm for us. Back up. So I had a whole bunch of stuff. Our numbers are available for folks who are interested. Just to break it down, here we have 3 streams of revenue. It's the truck sales, delivery, and catering. We're targeting those nonprofits, social justice organizations, and colleges and universities for the catering. And so we have those 3 streams with 3 different sets of books, 3 different break-even analysis, and profit and loss statements. And this is basically what we would have to do to be able to pay 10 employees. 10 employees at $15 an hour. We would need to do 1.8 grilled cheeses an hour. I don't need to read to you, this is what we need to do an hour. That would give us $1,455 per day. We did that 7 times, $10,185. And that sounds a little ambitious at first, but when you consider the amount of traffic that comes through downtown and the different streams of revenue, we feel like that's extremely feasible. Back up. All right. I should use a different color then. All right, so in closing, so we said the problem was marginalized folks need access to financial resources and quick, healthy, delicious food. And our ownership, our current ownership is 5 of us. We are a representation of those marginalized populations. There are queer folk, there are black folk, there are Asian folks, there are older folks. It's a conglomerate of different identities, and we all represent the marginalized populations of Worcester. We intend to be successful in providing quick, healthy, delicious food. And through those profits and the partnerships that we develop while doing business, we are hopeful to create new opportunities for the marginalized populations. The greater vision. Ultimately, Ultimately, we're looking to move into a community space cafe focused on intersectionality and global cultural exchange by featuring community-driven programming, an edibles menu, and 24-hour service in the actual bricks and mortar location. And the ask is this: any resources that you have, manpower, money, connections, to make this come to fruition, holla at us.
Next up is actually Dan and myself. We had a co-op that went through the academy. You're 12 years old. You flinch as your mom speeds through Kelly Square to drop you at school with you and 3 of her coworkers in tow. It's 5 a.m. and you're exhausted from staying up late in your 3DS last night. With how much he works, you don't talk a whole lot. Your dad is home sometimes, but after you get out of jail, you start drinking. They fight a lot. She's on the phone arguing with him now, something about what to do with you after school. You put on your headphones to drown it out. You get a text to hang out after class. Last time you smoked 2 cigarettes from the ash can behind the Chinese restaurant. You wonder what you might do this time. So roughly 35% of 12-year-olds are left to fend for themselves between the hours of 3 and 8 p.m. every day. Cities are loud, overcrowded. They have a 40% higher risk of depression, 20% increased risk of anxiety, and double the risk of schizophrenia. The average nationwide cost of after-school program is $113 a week. Working families have as little as $7 to $50 total disposable income. And lastly, I brought this guy up earlier. Trump recently eliminated funding for the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, the only federal funding federal program funding for after-school and summer activities for low-income communities. This represents 1.1 million children. Take a deep breath. About an hour ago, you got out of class and now you're walking on the trail with a group of friends. A slight breeze is blowing through the leaves. You close your eyes to feel it. Your phone vibrates in your pocket. You check it to find your friend wants to hang out again. You don't respond and instead place the phone back in your pocket. Today you're on a scavenger hunt in Broadmeadow Brook. Nature has the capacity to both heal and provide a space for growth. Studies have shown that time spent outside can increase grades often more than structured academic programs, and just 20 minutes have been shown to alleviate symptoms of ADHD and depression in both children and adults. So how do we hope to use it? We want to build a community-organized and operated federation of local youth, outdoor and after-school programs. So a few of them are shown here. And actually our first partner is a startup climbing cooperative that is looking to begin an after-school program and soon a community-owned climbing area. And with this federation, Worcester Outdoors aims to build an outdoor community center where youth can come after school, have access to the outdoors, and provide a meeting place and breeding ground for other local groups.
So as Curtis mentioned in the problem side, we have 35% of youth.
Can you use the mic, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
As Curtis mentioned in the previous slide, 35% of youth, can you hear me back there? 35% of youth are unsupervised after school. In Worcester, this represents roughly 17,000 students. Unsupervised time after school leaves room for students to go out and with their friends. Even with their friends, they're still likely to have delinquent behavior. If we can target this group, it can really help the community. We don't see competition, and rather than focusing on competition, we think that cooperation is really important. We want to form a federation, and this is going to integrate itself into the roots of our community.
So I'll just go a little bit over our vision for the co-op. So as a society, we become disillusioned. We see contrast between nature and humanity as being inherent, when really such a polarity is imagined. This has had numerous consequences. We have further isolated ourselves from a relationship with our environment, and consequently our understanding of it. The mission of Worcester Outdoors is to empower those in our local community that have historically been disenfranchised in pursuit of a more harmonious relationship with one another and the natural world. Through exposure to the outdoors and its inherent healing and capacity building properties, we believe in order for our movement to be successful and best address the needs of our local community, that we must organize as a cooperative where our members, workers, and member organizations are empowered to make the most informed decisions for optimal community benefit. Our long-term goal is having community space, but for now we are focused on organizing our community around these problems and ideas and finding solutions together.
So we would like to ask you guys if anyone has any community resources available, if they work with the community, we would like to learn more about what your experience is, and if you know anybody that can help, we would also appreciate that. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Judy. I'm with Renewable Energy Worcester, or Renew. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I'm with Renewable Energy Worcester, Renew, which is an energy democracy group. Most energy companies promote clean energy because it's better for the environment. What they don't mention is that certain communities of color, immigrant communities, low-income folks, bear most of the environmental and health costs of dirty energy. And these communities have largely been excluded from the clean energy revolution. Next. This pie chart shows all of the solar that's been installed in Worcester by zip code. And if you can see that tiny line, that little gray wedge, that's 01608, what we know as Main South. Next slide. This slide shows the percentage of households living under poverty by zip code. And in the 01608 zip code, almost half the households live below poverty, and there's almost no solar installed in those neighborhoods right now. Next. This is not surprising because these communities face multiple barriers to getting off of fossil fuels. They include home ownership, upfront capital, communication issues, a number of other issues. Just go on to the next one. Higher income households pay a fraction of their income, about 7%, on utility costs, and they're more likely to own solar panels, which can reduce and sometimes eliminate the cost of electricity. In contrast, lower income households pay up to 30% of their income on utility costs. Solar panels can reduce the cost of electricity by 15 to 20% or even more, and that those savings could be used for disposable income on other needs. Next. There's a lot of money in clean energy. The number of solar jobs in Massachusetts alone have almost doubled in the last few years. These companies are competing for customers, but a growing solar industry doesn't mean that everyone has access to solar energy. These companies are making profits for their shareholders who aren't doing the work, who don't live in Worcester. They have profits and not justice in their DNA. Next. So Renewable Energy Worcester is an energy democracy group. Energy democracy means to us making sure that everyone, not just people who own homes or have good credit scores, but everybody can get off fossil fuels. It also means that clean energy projects bring non-energy benefits to our community, like jobs for local residents. And finally, it means, Lori's gone, okay. It means that people who have borne most of the costs of dirty energy are part of the decision-making about our changing energy system. Next. So Renew, here in Worcester, Renew is supporting 2 energy cooperatives. They have the expertise to design clean energy solutions for everyone and the social justice goal of overcoming barriers. The advantage of getting clean energy from a co-op is that co-ops keep money circulating within the community and they're governed by their members. Next. So the role of Renew in this particular collaboration is to connect residents, businesses in low-income communities, nonprofits that serve these communities to the clean energy solutions designed by the co-ops. Next, co-founders of Renew have decades of social justice organizing, energy justice organizing experience combined here in Worcester. You were accepted into the U.S. Department of Energy Sunshot Initiative to install solar on faith-based organizations. This is some of the work that we've done presenting and organizing a community forum in 3 different languages. Next. So Renew is a young organization. We have tremendous potential. I am in this work. I am in this work because I know the cost of fossil fuels on communities of color and on the earth and the Earth's climate. As a white person, now retired, I'm putting our privilege to work. We can only move toward justice if solutions are informed by those who best understand the problems of our current system because they live them. I am here holding space for others. Next. So Renew is a young organization with tremendous potential, and we are inviting you to help us to advance this work in two different ways. One is to join Renew, and there are you can do outreach and community engagement for the energy cooperatives, and this work is compensated on a fee-for-service basis. We're looking for early adopters and pioneers to help us develop the organization, and there's a lot of opportunities. Outreach to community partners, overseeing internal communications, marketing, and social media, helping us develop our governance structures. The second way that you can help us is by doing what I am doing now, recruiting for Renew members at events like this, or among family members or friends or neighbors. So I do have an interest sign-up sheet right here. If you want to know more, if you have any questions, I would be happy to sit down with you or connect you with other members of the organization who don't happen to have it up here.
Hi everyone, Shabazz Sufi, I'm from Blue Rides Transportation Cooperative.
Where's the mic?
We are Worcester's first and only sustainable transportation cooperative, as well as sustainable transportation business. We started with Pedicab, we're also Worcester's first Pedicab company in the city. We felt it was important to start as a cooperative because there's a lot of precarious situations in the transportation industry today. We feel it's important to create economic viability for workers that have come to that industry. And we currently have 2 people who are part of our cooperative who previously were working for other transportation companies, as well as others in our business that have been in other service industries that are rooted in ideals that are more precarious, as well as have structural systems in place that are oppressive. So, what are we trying to address as a transportation company? Right now, we're looking at addressing nightlife transportation. You see the increase in the population downtown. There's 300 plus apartments going in downtown at 145 Front Street. That means more people in the city. It means more people looking for, fun and activities, ways to experience the city.